In this video, we will be answering the question of, what is aquaponics? The roots of the word aquaponics are aqua and ponics. Aqua means water, and ponics means work. So together, that forms the word waterworks. However, the word aquaponics also comes from two other words, aquaculture and hydroponics. Aquaculture is the farming of fish or other creatures that live in water, and hydroponics is a gardening method where no soil is used. Instead, plants are grown over water infused with nutrients. When you put these two together, you get, again, aquaponics. Because aquaponics is a combination of aquaculture and hydroponics, putting them together we get a better definition. A method of growing plants and fish together. The plants are grown in water that contains nutrients from the fish, and the plants absorb this nutrient-infused water, in turn cleaning it and making it safe for the fish to live in.
There are many different ways of setting up an aquaponics system, so I'll just talk about one that you might find in a greenhouse. The fish live in this large water tank, where we can provide all their needs, including food and oxygen. In these containers, the plants will grow. Most plants are grown in soil, but aquaponics allows for several other mediums like gravel or these styrofoam rafts with holes. What the plants grow in isn't super important, as long as the roots are exposed to the water. The pipes in between the containers allow the water to flow between them. The fish tank is the high point, and the water flows down from it into the grow beds, and then from there into something called a sump tank, which is just another container that holds the pump. From there, the water is pumped back up to the fish tank, and the cycle repeats. In short, the water is moved back and forth between containers to get the nutrients and chemicals to the fish and plants. Here's a quick demonstration to show how everything works. I'll start by pouring this colored water into the fish tank cup. The water then drains into the media grow bed. To get the water to the raft grow bed, I used a cool bit of physics called a siphon. The one in the actual system looks different, but the idea is similar. As long as the water level in the raft grow bed cup is lower than the media grow bed cup, water will flow through the tube. You can see me trying to start it, but messing up several times. This is going to take a while, so I'll just pour some more water into the raft grow bed. The raft grow bed then drains into the sump tank. I'll pretend to be the pump for a bit and pour the water from the sump tank back into the fish tank, which completes the cycle.
So, what happens in the fish tank? In the fish tank, fish absorb nutrients and create waste, adding nutrients back into the tank. Specific nutrients fish absorb are dissolved oxygen and fish food. After absorbing these nutrients, the fish produce waste such as nitrogen and small amounts of potassium and phosphorus. These are nutrients that help the plants stay healthy and happy. Many times, the fish do not produce enough of these nutrients, so we need to add extra to the system. The nutrients produced by fish flow through the system in the water where it reaches the plants. The nutrients in the water act as a fertilizer for the plants. A great advantage of an aquaponics system is that it basically cleans itself. When the waste from the fish flows to the plant absorbs the nutrients, cleaning the water. This allows for a healthy environment for fish and successful growth for the plants.
So where do plants grow in this entire system? We chose two options. The first one being a deep water culture system. And the second option that we used was a media grow bed. First, we're going to talk about the deep water culture. All the water is coming from the fish tank. And the reason why it starts in the fish tank is because the fish is what gives the water the nutrients that the plants need. So the fish kind of live in the water, and you can see the water flows from the fish tank to the deep water culture tank. And as you can see, the deep water culture tank has the water flowing from left to right, and eventually the water flows out. And as the water is flowing, the plants get the nutrients they need. Next, the media grow bed. And how we have it in our system is the deep water culture tank comes first, and then the water flows from there to the media grow bed. I'll actually be labeling it right there. Now, they both serve the same purpose. They're both there to grow plants, but they do it in different ways. So as you can see, we have the red thing there, the autosiphon. Now, instead of only letting gravity do the work, we also incorporate the height of the water. And another difference between the media grow bed and deep water culture is how the roots are hanging versus how the roots are contained in a little box in the deep water culture. The water still flows from the deep water culture to the media grow bed, but then once it reaches a certain height, the water is able to flow through, so there's something to stop it. So what can grow in these grow beds that we have? First, you have vegetables that can grow. Second, you could also do fruits. And last but not least, you can also do herbs. Really what limits a system from what it is able to grow is how sturdy are the plants and how physically big is the system. So a few examples that we have of some of these vegetables, fruits, and herbs is we have mints, you can use tomatoes, and we also have lettuce. And these are just three of the many examples anyone could use whenever they're trying to do their aquaponics system.
Another part of an aquaponics system is a sunk tank. You might be asking yourself, what exactly is a sunk tank? In our aquaponics system, we have our fish tank, we have our media grow bed, and we also have our deep water culture grow bed. When the water gets too high in either of the grow beds, a sump tank is added. It collects all of the water that overflows from either bed, so it has to be big enough to hold all of the water. A pump is then added in the sump tank and it pushes all of the water from the sump tank back into the fish tank. Gravity helps the water fall down into the fish tank. This is where you get the dissolved oxygen that you heard about in the video earlier. So why exactly are sump tanks important to us? When the pump is not inside of the fish tank, the noise of the tank doesn't bother the fish and they're much happier. When the fish are happy, they clean the water better and it helps the plants to grow bigger and better. On top of happy fish, this also helps us save energy and save money, which we really like to do.
In order to keep a healthy system for the fish, it is important to look at certain chemicals and nutrients in the tank. Some healthy water levels to check for are dissolved oxygen and pH, and some chemicals to check for are ammonia and nitrate. What is dissolved oxygen? This is what helps the fish breathe and live in the water, just like people need oxygen to breathe every day. The more dissolved oxygen, the better. Many fish tanks use rock bubblers to make more oxygen in the water, but our aquaponics system has falling water into the tank, thanks to gravity, which oxygenates the water. Another healthy water level is pH. What is pH? pH stands for the power of hydrogen. It describes how acidic or basic a solution is determined on a color chart. 0 to 7 is acidic, lots of hydrogen, and 7 to 14 is basic, less hydrogen. On this chart, you can see what foods align with certain pH levels. For example, lemons have a pH of 2, orange juice has a pH of 3, and bleach has a pH of 13. Humans drink water that has a pH around neutral, 7.7, and fish like this too. Make sure to measure the pH of water for the fish to be around 6.4 to 7. An important chemical in the system is ammonia. What is ammonia? Ammonia is the first form of nitrogen released from fish. When they breathe in the dissolved oxygen, they exhale ammonia through their gills. This is like how humans inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Too much of this is not good for the fish. Luckily, the plants absorb the ammonia and clean the water. Another form of nitrogen is nitrate. What is nitrate? Fish tanks contain algae and different bacteria that help the fish live in a happy ecosystem. They are important because they help to balance the chemicals that enter the tank. When fish release the ammonia from their gills, bacteria in the tank convert them to nitrate. How do all the fish and plants live happily together? The nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle is extremely important in the balance of fish tank ecosystem. When ammonia is released from fish, bacteria in the tank convert it into nitrate. This is important because when the water flows through the plant beds, the plants absorb the chemicals and flourish.
As a review, we know that aquaponics combines both hydroponics and aquaculture to create a mutual relationship between fish and plants, where the fish give nutrients to the water that the plants need, and the plants purify the water to make it safe for the fish to live in. In addition, we know that there are 4 main parts of the system: the fish tank, the media bed, the deep water culture bed, and the sump tank. The water flows by gravity between each section and then is sent back to the fish tank with an electric pump. Finally, we know that while the fish contain nutrients that the plants need to grow, chemical levels do need to be monitored and sometimes added to ensure that the system works. These chemical levels include dissolved oxygen, pH, ammonia, and nitrate. If all of these parts work, we have a system that can grow fish and plants to eat. Thanks for watching! We hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot from it.